This video was produced by Cornell Cooperative Extension and was adapted from the presentation by Lindsay Ferlito and Betsy Hicks during the webinar Understanding and Mitigating Lameness. In this video, we'll discuss the impact of nutrition on lameness, risk factors associated with nutrition and lameness, and best management practices for employees to use when working with groups of cows. In many dairies, cows are grouped by similarities. These groups can be milk production level, lactation number, stage of lactation, stocking density, or even mobility. Usually, groups will receive different diets, and this is one reason why it's important to not mix up groups. Another reason why it's important not to mix up groups, especially if cows are grouped by mobility, is that usually a group that is having a harder time walking or is more lame will be housed closer to the parlor, so it's less distance for them to walk. It's also important to not mix groups up because cows have a social hierarchy. If a few cows are mixed up, it hurts their production as they learn who their new group mates are and disrupts their normal schedule. In a perfect world, the farm provides the cow her needs when she wants them. Her needs are feed, a space to lie down, and ample room. In the perfect world, her dining experience includes her being able to eat when she wants, without competition, and the ability to lie down comfortably after she eats. If we provide this, the cow will have very little issues related to nutrition and lameness. We're not always able to provide a perfect environment for the cow, though. Sometimes our herd management dictates that we increase stocking density or put more cows than there are stalls into a pen. We know that cows would rather rest than eat, and increased stocking density has some unintended consequences. These consequences can be cows showing greater aggression and displacing other cows at the feed bunk, shifting the time that they would like to eat to when they can eat, eating fewer meals and eating more rapidly, and a greater potential for cows to sort their feed. These are all things we don't like to see. These effects are greatest on subordinate cows, sick cows, first calf heifers, and lame cows. Attention should be shown to these groups of animals because if stocking density becomes too much, the cows will be greatly affected. Another area where cows can be injured is when they're reaching for feed. In the picture, we can see the neck rail is severely bowed because cows have been constantly reaching for feed. Cows can push with over 500 pounds of pressure, but tissue damage can occur as little as 200 pounds of pressure. Neck injuries, as well as foot injuries from pushing for feed, can result in a situation like this. More frequent feed push-ups can minimize the chance of injuries. In addition, if cows rush up to get feed when it is pushed up, they probably have gone too long in between feed push-ups. Dairy cows have a specific amount of time that they like to allot to specific things during their day. On average, cows should spend 9 to 12 hours lying down, 3 to 5 hours eating, half an hour drinking, 2 to 3 hours for social interactions, and 2.5 to 3.5 hours for management activities like milking or being locked up for fresh cow checks or pregnancy checks. In general, a 1 to 2 hour change in time budget is manageable, but more than that can be detrimental to the cow. We need to limit time spent in lockups, especially those that have recently calved, because they are very susceptible to changes in daily standing time. Other than time spent in headlocks, we also measure time away from pen, or time that we force the cow away from doing the things that she wants. We always want to minimize time away from pen, such as when we bring her to the milking parlor. There are a few best practices for milking management. We know lame cows enter the parlor last, so they will spend the longest time waiting in the holding area. This can further impact their amount of lameness. If milking time is too long, more than an hour away from the pen, talk to your herd manager about possibly bringing up a half a group to the parlor instead of the whole group to minimize how long they're waiting. Another good practice is to only bring up the next group when it's time for them to enter the parlor. So when the holding area is still half full, it's way too soon to bring up cows from the next group, as they'll be waiting for an extended period of time. So in summary, cow diets are specific to their group, and care should be taken to not mix up groups. Feed should be kept pushed up so that cows aren't injuring themselves reaching for feed. Stocking density can have big impacts on sensitive groups of cows, as does time spent in headlocks and time away from pen. Your job working with cows and moving cows is really important to their daily time budget.